Let me hit you with a controversial statement. A summit funnel can be the cheapest way to build your email list, or can be the fastest way to waste 12 weeks of your life. Both are true. It all depends on what you're actually doing. Because most of all the people think that a summit funnel is just putting together an event. You invite some speakers, record some interviews, put together an agenda, and that's it. Well, we don't hope and pray. We want to do something that actually works. That's why a summit funnel is something different. A summit funnel is all about bringing the best speakers in the world around a very specific topic and selling something on the back end. It's basically board authority plus great speakers plus a product. That's the winner combination. And today, in this video, we are going to go through all the 8 of them. In this masterclass, I'm gonna show you why summits produce ridiculously cheap leads compared to webinars and challenges. The 3 reasons summits fail, and they are not what you think. The 2 summit models, high ticket versus low ticket. And the 1 lever that makes summits bring money, Overwhelm on purpose. And I will share real benchmark and real numbers for some of the top summits that I've run in the past 6 years. Some of these summits generated 500,000 leads and $2.5 million in revenue. Others on very specific niches did more than $1 million in revenue in a single summit. And we even did a summit that created a New York Times best-selling book. Trust me, if you take this video seriously, make notes, look into every single detail that I will share, you will be able to create the perfect summit funnel. If you are new here, I'm Alessio Pieroni, and I spent the last 10 years to help course creators to scale their businesses. I started my career in Mindvalley, where I was the chief marketing officer and helped the company to scale from 25 to 75 million. And in the last 5 years, I ran Scale for Impact, the marketing agency for course creators. With that, we ran so many summits and we helped so many people to go to the next level. We work with people like Tony Robbins, Danny Morel, Jordan Peterson, Marisa, Shefali Tsabari, and many, many, many others. In this channel, I share all the knowledge that I got with working with some of the biggest creators in the world completely for free. If you are a new creator that's starting out, I have literally nothing to sell you. All I want is for you to be successful. On the other hand, if you're already making $250K a year, my objective is to take you and scale you to the moon. And if that's something interesting, book a call with us below. Now, before we start, I have 2 favors to ask you. The first one, forgive my Italian accent. It's just too much, I know. And the second one, if this video is helping you in any way, shape or form, just leave a like or subscribe below here. And if you are a creator that makes more than $250K a year, just book us for a call at Scale for Impact. We can definitely help you take it to the next level. Before we go deep, let me answer the questions I know you're asking. Are summits still working? Yes, yes, yes. If you do them in the right way, summits are such a powerful weapon. Do I need a big audience? No, not necessarily, but you need some leverage. It could even be ad budget, credibility, or connections. Are summits just list building? No, we don't do summits to get cheap leads. We do summits to get leads that convert and scale. How do summits make money? 2 ways. Number 1, the low ticket, which is basically the summit recordings. That's valuable and it's something that works. But the other way, which is even bigger, is the backend product that you sell in a summit. Are summits too much work? Yes, if you do them in a dumb way. But if you do them in the right way, they are still hard work, but at the same time, it can really skyrocket your business. Let's talk about what a summit funnel really is and compare it to webinars and challenge. A webinar is one person teaching for like 60, 90 minutes. And a challenge is a person teaching and changing behaviors for 3 to 5 days. Well, a summit is like 40 webinars happening in 3 to 5 days. That's why people are like, wow, this is literally the coolest thing on the world. I have the best minds in the world talking about this specific topic for free. And exactly because it's such an incredible lead magnet, everyone wants to sign up for a summit and it's so cheap to get leads because a lot of people want to get so much value. That's why it's the most unfair lead magnet ever. But here is the problem. People hear that and they think, wow, that's cool. Cheap leads. I want cheap leads. So they go ahead, they build a summit funnel with 40 speakers on some very broad topic like personal growth or business, and then they get 0 sales, a lot of leads that don't want to buy anything, and they say summit don't work. No, summit work. You just need to do them in the right way. You need to make sure that your topic is specific. You need to make sure that the people you bring in make sense for your business. No, summits work. Your summit didn't work because your topic wasn't built to monetize. Remember, summits amplifies everything. If your topic is great and it really makes sense, summits scale. If your topic is vague, summit scale vagueness. That's not really good. Here is the mental model I want to keep in mind. A summit funnel is a borrowed authority funnel. You're essentially saying, I'm bringing together the best experts in the world for just 3-4 days to speak about this specific topic. And by the way, they make you one of the experts as well. In this way, you get attention, trust, and speed. And the way in which you monetize it is that you ask them to upgrade to become a VIP, or you make your own offer on the back end. Let me give you the 3 reasons why Summit fails. And no, it's not that Zoom didn't work, it's not that the speaker didn't show up, and it's not that the tech was too complex. There are real reasons that really make your summit fail. Reason number 1, you haven't validated the summit topic before the summit happens. This happens all the time. People have a lovely idea of doing a summit on a specific topic. They get too excited about it. They go ahead, they collect speakers, they start interviewing, they do everything, and then they go live with the summit, and people are just not interested. I've seen this happening all the time. It's extremely important that you pre-validate your summit topic before you even start recruiting the speakers. And later in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly my methodology to pre-validate your summit topic. Because here is the rule. The right summit name and the right summit topic are 50% of your summit success. I've seen incredible summit with incredible speakers with the wrong topic fail. And a simple test of a couple of days with just $50 to $100 can really save your summit. Reason number 2. Your topic is not monetizable. This happens quite often. There is a lot of interest around that topic, but not a lot of people that have an intent to purchase. So it's an interest topic. Let's give an example. Let's imagine you have productivity hacks. That's super interesting. You can go very viral by talking about this topic, but people don't buy productivity hacks, right? So what happens is that you might bring together the best productivity experts in the world, give them some hacks, and that's kind of it. You won't be able to make it profitable. But look at it from the other point of view. What are people buying for? People are buying to save time. So maybe the Save 2 Hours a Day Summit is a lot more monetizable than the Productivity Hack Summit. And it's incredibly important to frame the summit in the right way, because time is money, and that what really makes sense. So always look, are people already paying for this? There are already courses that are happening. What is the before and after transformation that is actually happening when people join my summit? Will this transformation make them go to a next level where they will be ready to pay for it? Reason number 3, you went for a general topic instead of a specific one. This is very important. People have a pain, and your summit need to solve that pain. If you go for something too general, this will just never work. Like once one of my clients did a personal growth summit, it just doesn't work. No matter how much you try, the market is a lot more sophisticated than that. So you cannot do a marketing summit, a health summit, a personal growth summit. It just doesn't work. Think about yourself. If you are here, maybe you have a problem with your marketing, right? Would you just join for marketing, or would you join because your webinar is not converting or your ads are too expensive? So would you join a marketing summit, or would you join a Make Advertising Great Again summit? That would be very different, right? Now, once the topic is right, the next question is, should you even run a summit? Because, summit aren't for everyone. Okay, let me save you a lot of pain with this. Summit is leverage, and leverage is amazing, but only when you have some foundations. Here is when you should not run a summit. You should not run a summit if you have no connection, no budget, and you're very much at the beginning. Because just picture this for a second. How hard would it be to run ads without a budget, recruit speakers that you don't know, build an event without a list, and monetize an audience that doesn't even know you? That's really a lot. But on the other hand, if you have a good foundation, Summit can work like crazy. Imagine that. You have some connection, you can recruit some speakers, you maybe have some budget for advertising, and you already have a product that you can sell. In those cases, summits can work really well. And I'll tell you even more. When I started my own marketing agency, the thing I used to launch the marketing agency and connect with other people in the industry was a summit. Yes, summit can even be used to launch a business. And I've seen a lot of people doing that. And that worked in my case because I had connections. No one knew me because I was always the man behind Mindvalley. I was never the person in front of the camera. But on the other hand, I had good connection. I could recruit great speakers because of the work that I did. And that allowed me to recruit even better speakers and create even a better summit. Because when you have your own list that you can bring to a summit, when you have affiliates that can bring you traffic, and when you have some budget for advertising that you can use, that works really well. Cool. If you're still here, chances are you really want to do a summit. That's great. Now there is a fork in the road. Are you going to do a low ticket summit or a high ticket summit? This decision changes everything. I know that the name of these two summits look very similar, and it looks like that the only difference is the product you're selling. But trust me, this single decision changes the entire psychology of the summits, and they are two entirely different funnels. So let's do this. Let's deep dive into the high ticket summit first. A high ticket summit is very much like a physical event done online. Have you ever been in one of those conferences where there is some content first, and then usually at 1 day and a half, they start selling you a high ticket product? Well, the high ticket summit is pretty much the same, but online. And this is something that's very interesting because the entire concept of a high ticket summit is to replicate those type of events. Usually the summits are free or they are low paid. But the major concept is that you want people to show up for this summit. You want people to be there, you want people to be in every single session, and you want to make sure that the people that are in the summit actually enjoy the content and want to go to the next level, which means that you need to shift beliefs and you really need to work on the next level. It's kind of like a challenge on a certain sense because you need to start to show them different beliefs that they have that are wrong about that topic. You need to show them how they can start improving and go to the next level, and show them how the product that you're actually selling is going to solve that specific problem. And there are a few rules. Number one, the summit is free and you are not selling recordings. Why you're not selling recordings? Because if you sell recordings, people don't show up live. And if people don't show up live, they don't buy your product. You want them to be there, not to monetize a $29 product. Another big difference is the length of the day for this type of summits. Maximum is 4 hours a day. You don't want to overwhelm your audience. You want to make sure that your audience is focused, concentrated on your topic, and that is there for the different pitches that you will do throughout the conference. A great example of companies that have been doing very well with this type of high ticket funnels are Mindvalley or ClickFunnels. Mindvalley has been doing a lot of different summits like that lately, from AI summit to social media summit. And the interesting thing is that they've been doing a multi-speaker event with about 10 different speakers. And those speakers were also the speaker of their program, their high ticket course, which is usually a $5,000 program where those speakers are actually teaching you for 6 months on that specific topic. That's a very great transition because you learned a bit from those different speakers, you understand how good they are, and then you can upgrade and solve the same problem and go to the next level. ClickFunnels also did something similar. They used to do this conference live that was named Funnel Hacking Live, and now they started to do this conference also online, maybe as a replay of the live or as a different type of conference. And this simply works because the right psychology of the physical events is translated online, and you can really do great sales. You can sell very high ticket products, and you can sell it even directly on the stage Or you can also sell it with a call. So you can have a sales team that take the call of the people that are interested and transform it into purchasers. That really changes everything. Now, there is a lot more to discover on the high ticket summit world. But in this specific video, I want to focus a lot more in giving you a full understanding of the different models, and I want to go a bit deeper into the low ticket summit. So let's dive in on that. This is a great summit that you can run even when you don't have a product. Yeah, you heard it right. You can run the summit even when you don't have a product. And let me tell you more. The summit itself can become the product. Actually, the summit itself can become a company. Let me explain a bit more on that. A low ticket summit is usually a summit that you have a lot of different speakers. Sometimes you even have 25, 30, 50. I even done one time a summit that was with 1,000 speakers. I'm not even kidding. 1,000 speakers, 10 different days, 10 different tracks parallelly that were talking around different topics on personal growth. That was absolutely the biggest summit I've ever run. But here is what I want you to understand. A summit can be the product itself. Why? Because when there are so many speakers and no one can watch so many talks at the same time, you definitely want to have the library of recording for yourself. And that's why you want to purchase the lifetime access to all those recordings. The summit itself becomes the product. And let me tell you more, you can even sell sponsorship for the summits. So the summit itself become the product. And let me tell you even more. You can even do in the future that you transform some of the summit talks into podcasts or into snippets or into social media. You can build an entire content and media machine thanks to the summit. The summit is not even the product, it's the company itself. I've seen a lot of people building summit companies following this exact approach. Because whenever you bring the best speakers in the world, it can really change everything. And here is how it works. You have a summit where people join for free. And the summit is free just while it's live. It basically means that you can access so many different people, but at the same time, it's actually difficult to access all of them. So what do you have to do to get access for a lifetime? You have to pay. And usually you pay a price that's between $49 and $199 to upgrade. And this upgrade is really where the money are coming from. It's obvious that you can add also order bumps, upsell, and other offers, but this is the real engine. It's the engine that pay back for all the advertising, that give money to all the affiliates that drive traffic and generate profit for you. This is where a lot of leads actually convert, and this is what can make a summit work really well. That's really the game changer when you think about low ticket summit. But here is also what's very interesting. In a low ticket summit, you can still sell higher ticket product later. It will be less effective than in a high ticket summit, but you can do very well. I've had a lot of clients that did a summit, and then the week after the summit, they did a webinar to sell a higher ticket product. Or even better, they did a summit, and then they auto-enroll people into a challenge that was selling a higher ticket product. And that works quite well because it feels like a free gift that summit attendees get, and they can go to the next level. Because summits usually allow you to see a lot of different people that talk about a topic. And the problem is that you are a lot more knowledgeable about that, but you don't really know exactly what's the next step that you need to do to synthesize all these great learnings. And then giving them a webinar or giving them a challenge that allow them to synthesize this learning and taking it to the next level with a great product is really the things that can work. Again, a bit less effective than a high ticket summit, but you can still generate revenues for your product on the back end of a low ticket summit. So, while a high ticket summit can be definitely more profitable, a low ticket summit can still sell your products on the back end of that. But again, step back for a second and think, why do low ticket summit work in that way? Why does it make sense to have a recording upgrade for a low ticket summit and not for a high ticket summit? Why do we want people to have so many speakers and we want them to upgrade? Well, it's pretty interesting. And there is a principle that I call overwhelm on purpose. Because normally an overwhelmed mind doesn't buy. But in a summit case, an overwhelmed mind wants to upgrade to the better version of the summit. So think a bit about that. When you sign up for a summit, what do you actually see? Well, it's pretty simple. You go in a summit and you see 50 speakers on a topic. You normally look at the top 5, 10 speakers and you're like, those are really great. I absolutely want to sign up for this summit. And at the same time, you understand that the summit is free. So, great, I'm signing up. And then you understand, oh my goodness, that's 50 hours of content that I need to watch in order to see my speakers. And when the summit is happening, oh my God, it's happening from Monday to Friday. And there is no way I can take a week off to watch the summit. How the hell am I going to do this? Oh, wait a second. There is an upgrade here. And an upgrade, let me have access for the rest of my life to all these sessions so I can watch it at my own time. Okay, you know what? Let me just upgrade so that I can watch this. And this is exactly how the summit psychology work. Because if you would do a summit with the top 5 speakers, the top 10 speakers, and the summit will be over 4 days, and you can watch it at 2 hours a day, so at 1 hour a day, you will definitely be able to do it, and you don't need to purchase anything. But when the experience becomes too overwhelming, and this becomes so difficult for a person to actually go through this at their own pace and whenever they want, they absolutely need to upgrade. And that's what makes the difference. We want to make sure that we actually overwhelm the audience. And I know exactly what you're thinking. Alessio, isn't that manipulative? Isn't that wrong? Isn't that bad? No, not exactly. And I want to give you an example. Think that this is a freemium option. Freemium, yes, exactly, like Spotify. You guessed it right. Spotify is exactly the same option. Think it, very similar psychology compared to Summit. Whenever you sign up for Spotify, you can access for free to all the music in the world. How cool is that? Now, there is just one little problem. You cannot search the song you want. You can listen a playlist, and this playlist you cannot skip. You cannot rewind. You get an advertisement every other song. And that's so annoying as an experience. So it's a great lead magnet. Everyone sign up for that. But at the same time, that experience is so annoying that you say, you know what? I need to upgrade to the next level. And to upgrade to the next level, I'm going for the paid version. And that's exactly what we are doing in a summit. In a summit, the free version is actually great. You get a lot of knowledge for free, but it's limited in time. You cannot watch it whenever you want. You don't know the agenda. It happens during working days. It's a very tough experience for you. So you're very overwhelmed. And what you need to do? You need to upgrade. That's how the psychology of a great summit work. And once you figure that out, and once you work in that way, you are really able to have incredible results. And obviously, you can also add other great things and make the premium experience even better in a summit. Think about it. One of the best things that we normally add in a premium experience is, number one, some special bonuses from the speakers. A lot of speakers want to give extra bonuses so that the people that pay will have an extra access to them, and this extra access can also allow them to get individual access to the speakers. So that's a great thing that you really want to add. Another one, transcript or notes. That's very important because people watch a lot of talk, but they want to go back and say, what did he say exactly in this exact moment? So transcript and notes really work. Or another thing that we've seen working very well, audios. A lot of people want to listen to a summit exactly like they would listen to a podcast. And that's mind-blowing. So many people are happy to pay for this specific type of access. So you can really make an experience very premium whenever people go to the next level. Here is an interesting metaphor to explain how Summit works. Summit, it's like a buffet. You arrive at the buffet and there is tons of food. But then all you can do is to take little taste in different parts of the buffet. And that can be annoying. But at the same time, it's great. You can taste a lot of food for free. Now, you tasted that specific plate that is so good, and you're like, ooh, I would really love to have that full plate. Well, The only thing you have to do is that you have to upgrade. So what we do in a summit is that we time box the entire experience. We still give access to that, but we give access in a way that it's maybe overwhelming for the user. So if the user really want to have a great experience, they will have to upgrade. So wrapping up, there are three major mechanisms that make your summit convert more. Number one, live only access. People can access your summit and all the sessions just while it's live. That's extremely important and probably the most important mechanism to make sure that you can upgrade. People have the fear of missing out and want to make sure that they have access for their lifetime to the event. Number two, run the summit during the week. That's very important because we have seen this over and over and over again. People are at work. They cannot watch the summit whenever they want. So running it during the week make the summit a lot more overwhelming as an experience, and people really want to learn more and go a lot deeper into this. So for this specific reason is extremely important that you run it during the week because it really increases the sales that you can do. Mechanism number three, the content volume. It's incredibly important that you don't do a summit with like 5 or 10 speakers. It's incredibly important that your summit needs to have a lot of speakers. You want to make the content almost too difficult to consume. And what's really important is making sure that this is at least 6 to 10 hours of content every single day. You remember in a high ticket summit, it was less than 4 hours of content a day because you want people to consume. Here is more than 6 because you want people not to consume it live or for free. You want people to actually upgrade and purchase. And that is such a huge difference. The more you make them consume in such a way, the more people will want to upgrade. If you really want this summit to convert, you absolutely need to make sure that people know how the summit works. A lot of people don't know that the summit is free while it's live. So it's incredibly important that you repeat it in the thank you pages, in the emails, so that everyone really knows that they have access to the summit just while the summit is live. So very important to underline that part. And this is a huge way in which summits get successful. So we talk about the topics, we talk about the mechanism for conversion. Now we need to talk about the third thing that make or break a summit: speakers. Because speakers can bring so many people in your summit or can be the reason why your summit doesn't work. So let's dive deep into that. Some people think that the secret of a summit is to just get a lot of speakers. Some other people think that the secret is about having a lot of speakers that are affiliates. Some other people think that it's all about getting the best speakers. And you know what? On a certain level, they are all right and they're all wrong. What's really important is to build the right speaker portfolio. That's what you need to do to get the right speakers, the best speakers, and the speakers that will email for your summit. When the summit model started, it was purely an affiliate game. Back in the days, you were invited to a summit just if you were emailing for the summit. If you weren't emailing, no, you were not part of the summit. Now things are a bit different. But still, there are a lot of people that run summits exactly in this way. Do I think that that's the right way to run a summit? No, I don't think so. I don't think that that's the best way to run a summit. In my opinion, you need to have a bit of a balance of that. That's why I divide speakers in different tiers. In tier 1, you always have the headliners. These are incredibly important speakers. They are speakers that will bring you a lot of signups, and that those signups will generate a lot of revenue in the future for you. And you cannot expect those speakers to email for your summit, especially when you don't have such a big list or it's not such a big summit. So sometimes getting those headliners just to speak at your summit is all you need. And that really is a game changer. All you want to have is to have 5 to maximum 10 headliners in your summit. Those people are really a game changer. You can use them in all the advertising, you can use them everywhere. And as we saw before, a lot of users sign up just if they see some big headliners in the summit. That will show the user that the summit is the real deal. And if you want to have those kind of summit, you definitely need to have the headliners. After this, you want to go to the second tier speakers. Those speakers are good speakers, and you recognize them because they're part of a lot of different summits. So whenever you do the research for your summit, always look at competitor and always look at what kind of speakers they are having in different summits. When you see that a speaker appear in almost all the different summits, that's a second tier speaker. That basically means they say yes to a lot of different invitation. They probably have a list, and you know that they're not as big as the other headliners. But this is very interesting because having those speakers give a lot of credibility to your event, increase the value that you have, and it's something very important because it's easy to get them and it's important to get them. So definitely focus on the second tier speaker. Then number 3, you want to focus on the affiliates. Affiliate speakers are extremely important to me because they are the one that also bring a lot of leads to your summit. Sometimes the person is not even the most incredible person ever, but they have a very big list and they can bring leads, signups, and revenue to your summit. So if that's the case, really focus on getting very good affiliate speakers because the more you have affiliates, the more your summit will have leads and the more your summit will generate revenues. And then last but not the least, you want to have the quality speakers. Those are very interesting speakers because they're one that will not bring leads, will not bring revenue, but will bring quality to your event. These can be the PhD, can be the professors, can be the people that don't have a list, they don't play the online game, but whenever you listen to them, you can understand that, wow, this summit are really qualitative speakers and are really people that know what they're talking about. That to me is really a game changer. You want to make sure you have quality speakers and those quality speakers work really well to upgrade the level of your summit. Okay, now that we have identified the 4 tier of speakers, we need to figure out how do we get them to our summit. First step is very simple. Start with your connections. If especially you have some good headliners that are already in your connection, get started with that. And what's really lovely about that is that if you have a very good connection with people and they are on your WhatsApp or they are on your email and you are sure that they will say yes, that will work very well because it will allow you to start with those 5 to 10 speakers that will be the good speaker that will set the tone for the rest of the summit. Maybe there might be 2 headliners, 2 quality speakers. There will be 3 people that are the second tier speakers, and then some other people that are affiliates. It's fine. It can be a mix of them. But if you already have a good first speakers in the beginning of the summit, it can really take things to the next level. I've seen this over and over and over again. Your own connection set the tone for what your summit will actually be. After that, it's time to go for the second tier speakers. You know, they already appear in a lot of different summits. And what you want to do is that you want to make sure they appear in yours as well. So go and share with them the name of your summit, the topic of your summit, the people that are already participating in your summit, which is your first connection speakers, and then a lot of them will say yes. This will transform your summit from a 8 to 10 speaker summit to a 15 to 20 speaker summit. And now you can go and add affiliate speakers and quality speakers. Usually these ones are pretty interesting to attract because the quality speakers, they will come simply if they like the summit and they want a bit some branding to go to the next level. While on the other hand, the affiliate speakers, they want to know that they are actually sending traffic to a very qualitative summit. So at this point, with already 20 speakers, you can do very well from that perspective. And bringing those in can allow you to go to 25 or 30 different speakers. Now you're like, okay, Alessio, but I want to take things to the next level. I want to connect with a lot of people that I don't know. How do I do that? And now it's time to go cold. Now it's time to invite people that you don't know anything about them. And why you can invite them now? Because it's not anymore about Alessio is doing a summit. Can you please come to my summit? And they'll obviously say no. But it's a lot more about I'm doing a summit where these top speakers are talking and there are other 30 speakers that are talking. Would you want to be one of the headliners of this summit? Now, this is a lot more powerful I've seen this over and over and over again. People want to sign up. People want to speak at the event where other great people are. They want to be able to say, hey, I'm sharing the stage with Alex Hormozi or Gary Vee or Deepak Chopra or whoever it is. That really makes the difference. The more you're able to attract those people and allow their borrowed authority to do the work, the more they want to join their summit. When I did my own personal summit, I was able to have Jay Abram joining my summit for free because I was able to show him that I had a fantastic summit. And that really changed everything. One last tip on how to attract great speakers. I've seen this happening a lot of time. Good speakers recommend you other good speakers. So always ask them, especially after the interview, do you have any speaker you would recommend to join our summit? And there are a lot of people that will connect you with other speakers and they will do a fantastic job on that. So always do that. Always say yes. Always try to connect with more speakers. That will help to grow your summit further and further. Now, the big question, what's the rule we should use about promoting the summit? This can depend, right? But a lot of time, the rule that I use is pretty simple and straightforward. If you are a headliner, we give you the opportunity to promote, but if you don't promote, there is absolutely no problem. With the affiliate speaker, you have a very clear agreement. And usually the agreement works something like this. I will send you 1,000 clicks to your summit, and after that, I will send you 1,000 clicks to your own offers. That usually works very well because you limit the amount of clicks that you send to them, and you can do, and they can do the same to you. It's not too risky, but it's good enough. Now, what's interesting? Maybe this affiliate has an email list of 500,000 people, and maybe you have an email list of 10,000 people. That might mean that for the 10,000 people list, you might need to send 5 emails to achieve 1,000 clicks. And then for the 500,000 people, they might send one email to 30% of their list, and they might be able to achieve that goal. So it's very important that you don't really look at how big is your email list or how big is my email list, but you look at how many clicks are we exchanging. And it's important that you have an agreement. It's important that you say, hey, I promised 1,000 click, I sent it. Now I expect you to send me this 1,000 click. And it's a simple exchange. People in this industry really work on the concept of reciprocity. And the more you give them great traffic, the more they give you great traffic. Everyone wins when everyone wins. So make sure that you respect all the partnership. Make sure you have agreement with all the different speakers. And make sure that you tell them exactly, hey, I'm happy to send you some traffic back, because that will always work. Now, what happens if they don't promote or if they underdeliver? Well, you don't send them traffic. Or if, for example, you had an agreement for 1,000 click and they send you 500, you're very clear with them. It's like, hey, I want to partner with you, but till when you don't send me the remaining 500 clicks, I'm not going to send you any more traffic. When will you send me the next 500 clicks? That's extremely important, because once you have that clear activity, you really can work well. And don't get me wrong, they want partnership. They want to get more clicks from you. So they would really want to take things to the next level to make sure that you get more and more and more traffic. Okay, that's fantastic. Now we understood how we need to create our own experience and how to make it in a way that overwhelm and convert. And we figured out also how to get the right type of speakers and how to make sure that they transform themselves into affiliates. And then we need to go to the next step. How do we actually scale a summit? Look, I'm going to say something that's going to save you a lot of money. The summit name and topic really matter to 50 to 60% of your summit success. If you get the name wrong, if you get the topic wrong, you can get incredible speakers and still struggle with your summit. What most people do is that they choose a name for a summit. Maybe they wake up one morning, like the name, and go with that. They choose speakers, they build all the pages, they run advertising and traffic through affiliates to it. They figure out that people maybe sign up, but they don't buy, or maybe don't even sign up, and they just wasted a lot of money and a lot of time. You absolutely want to avoid that. The good news is that there is a pre-validation framework that can save you from all of this. Let's deep dive into what this is. The system is pretty simple. We want to come up with 20-25 names for our summit. I know that's a lot, but trust me, it will be needed. Maybe you can also do that you choose 5 different topics and each topic has 5 different summit names. This will absolutely change the way in which you will see at your summit, and it will force you to be a lot more creative with the name of the summit. Once you choose all these 25 names, you want to create a little creative, which is basically a banner with the summit name. The rest is the same. You can also put the speaker images of some of the speakers that are going to attend this summit. Once you do that, you will have 25 different banners, one for each name. And here is what you need to do to pre-validate which one will be the best summit name. First, you need to open your Meta advertising and do a little Facebook campaign. That's going to cost you between $50 to $150 maximum, and in 2 days, you're going to have the result. Then you set up a campaign that have traffic as an objective. What you want to do is that you have one single ad set and that you have the 25 different ads as the different variation. And then you need to create a rule. The rule is that each of the different variation will get 400 impressions. If they get 400 impression, then what will happen is that everyone will have had the same amount of impression for you to understand where do people click. And at the moment, you need to analyze. Once you analyze the name of the summits, you're going to look for a few different type of metrics. The first one is CPM, which means cost per mille, how much it costs us to show this specific advertisement to 1,000 people. Then you want to look for CPC, cost per click, how much it costs us to receive a click on this. And then for CTR, click-through rate, what's the percentage of people that click on the ad and go to your page. This is extremely important because these metrics show you, especially the CPC, which will be the best summit to run. Or let's speak a bit more frankly, this is not truly statistical significance. So it can give you a very good direction. And especially if you follow the suggestion of having 5 different topics with 5 different names, you are going to see some pattern. Maybe you can see that a specific topic will have 3 names in the top 5. And that basically means that that topic is the right one. And then you can adjust and see what the right name would be. But that really can make the difference. Now, if you want to take this a step further, I also take the best 5 different summits and I retest it again. But this time, instead of testing it per traffic, I will test it per lead. And I will try to see what the cost per lead will be on the different type of summits. This is going to show me the summit that is most likely to perform better. Now, I know this is a bit of work and it's a bit technical, so I know it's a little bit advanced, but if you do this, it can save you a lot of money. Look, this is an example of a summit that we have run with Funder. Funder is an incredible online education company based out in Australia. And the first summit that we ran with them was a summit that cost per lead that costed about $15 per every single attendees. And after that, we applied the pre-validation framework. We come up with a different summit name and the cost per lead went down to $5 a lead. That's 1/3. That's a huge difference. And obviously the second summit was a lot more successful than the first one. So always test, always pre-validate. It really changes the way in which you get results. The other important thing is that you want to have a good traffic mix. Don't underestimate this. You want to make sure that your own list or your own audience really come to your summit. You want to have a lot of emails for that. We normally do 14 emails to our own audience to come to our own summit. That's super important. And obviously social media as well. Social media is such a huge difference for that perspective. If you have a good social media account, bring as many people as possible to your summit through that. After that, you want to have the second source of traffic, which is your affiliate. We talked before about speakers being affiliates. You want to make sure that all the different speakers have the possibility to be an affiliate. Some of them might never post anything. Some of them might just post it on their Instagram stories. Some other will send multiple emails to their list. And it really makes the difference. We see this over and over and over again, but there are a lot of people that do an incredible work of being affiliates and can drive you a lot of traffic and revenue for you and for them. Because what normally happens is that those affiliates get a percentage cut of every revenue of the summit that they bring, normally between 40 to 50%. That basically means that they generate revenue, you generate traffic, and you generate revenue. So everybody wins. And then, last but not the least, you want to use advertising. Now, for some reason, summits historically were done mostly as affiliates. So a lot of people use their own affiliates, a lot of people use their own lists, but not a lot of people use advertising. And that's frustrating because advertising is such a huge opportunity. It's actually the cheapest lead that you can ever get. If you compare it to webinar or to challenges, you can really do very well with summit and advertising. Because think about it, this is absolutely the best lead magnet. It's almost unfair, right? So you absolutely want to advertise to the summit and get as much traffic as possible. We see this over and over again. We have either organized our own summit or organized it for our client or run advertising for our clients. And we see that those summits can really perform incredibly well from an advertising perspective. But now there is a follow-up question. How do you actually advertise for a summit? I'm glad you asked. So we do this quite often, and I've seen a lot of people doing different things. Here are a couple of things I would say. Let's start with optimization. You always want to start optimizing by leads because you start getting leads and it's pretty obvious that you will have people that will convert and upgrade to the VIP option. Now, once this happens and once you start getting some purchase, then you need to start optimizing by purchase. That makes the difference. Because again, I don't care about cheap leads if those cheap leads don't buy anything. All I care about is if I spend $100 on advertising, how much money am I making back? That's the real game. Nothing else better. Like leads, number of signups is an absolute vanity metrics. What really matters is how much revenue, how much profit are you generating. Now, optimizing per purchase means that you're telling Facebook not to give you sign up, but to give you people that upgrade to VIP. And those people are the most valuable one, which is obvious that the cost will be higher compared to the cost per lead because you don't want freebie seekers, you want buyers. But at the same time, this will allow you to generate a lot more revenues. As a good rule of thumb, if you have your 60%, 50% ROAS happening on day zero, meaning on the day in which people sign up, you will probably have about 100% ROAS at the end of the summit. Always think that whatever you're spending and whatever you're generating when people sign up, you will probably double it down for the rest of the summit. And we do this very often. We have clients that we aim to have a 50% ROAS on day zero. Other we aim to have a 70. Other we aim to have 100% ROAS. You can decide whatever you want based on the profitability that you want to get. But it's extremely important that we always make sure to generate as much revenue as possible from this. Now, what creative actually works? I said before that speakers are incredibly important in a summit. And this is very true when it comes to advertising. Because let's speak frankly, we tried so many different variations of so many different things. But once you have the same image with a good speaker versus the same image with some speakers that are not that famous, that will simply not work a lot. So focus on having the right speakers and your banners will definitely work a lot better. There are a lot of different combinations that we've tried. We've tried banners with 9 speakers, 6 speakers, 3 speakers, 8 speakers. We've tried a lot of different things. We have definitely seen that the 6 speakers one are good enough because you can usually show who are the top headliners, and at the same time, it's a lot more visible the people that are speaking at your summit. Always make sure to have in your banners the name of the summit and to have the dates so that people really know what's going to happen. And obviously underline that the summit is free and that the summit is live. A few other things that work for us: ticket style creative. That's very interesting because it's a creative that doesn't have a very good CTR, but it's a creative that really works very well in terms of conversion. Why does it work so well? Probably because people, whenever they think of a ticket, they think that they have to pay something. So they are already primed to pay, and they will pay. We have seen this over and over across different summits. This ticket banner really work. And then, last but not the least, snippets. If you do have some preview of your summit, it's extremely important that you can show some snippets of the summit before the summit even happens. That absolutely change the way in which you work and take things to the next level. Okay, now you really got where you need to be. You know what is your topic, you know the type of traffic, you know how to get the speakers, you know how to structure the entire experience to overwhelm the audience and convert. You really know how to run a summit. I think that all you need right now is you need to figure out, okay, great, but how do I actually take this to the next level? Can you show me some example of what works? No problem. I'm here for that. Okay, so now let's talk about numbers, because a summit with the wrong numbers is not a good summit. We want to make sure that our summit is profitable, is a great success, and really make a huge difference. So we need to know what to track and what make a summit work or not. So we need to understand benchmark, and we need to figure out everything. That's why I also put together a very great summit calculator for you. You can find it down below in the description. Just sign up for that and you'll get access to the summit calculator with all this benchmark that you can also adjust if you feel that you have some different benchmark. So let's deep dive into numbers and see what are the benchmark we need to look at. The first benchmark is your opt-in rate or your landing page conversion rate. It basically means how many people arrive in your page and how many people sign up with that. So from your affiliate and from your own email list, you can expect to have about 50% of people to sign up for your summit. While if you come from advertising, it will be lower. It will be about 30%. So you absolutely need to make sure that you know that there is a difference. So if your summit converted 30% on ads, it's not bad, it's just normal, but it needs to convert on a different way on email and affiliates. And that's because advertising traffic is less qualitative than your own affiliates or your own email list. It's just normal. Great. Let's go on cost per lead. So when you advertise, you can have different type of cost per lead based on what you're optimizing for. If you optimize per leads, you might have a $1 to $3 cost per lead. That's extremely low and it's very attractive, but it doesn't really convert a lot. While when you optimize per purchase, you might have between $3 to $8 cost per lead. So it's a lot more expensive, I know, but trust me, your revenue will multiply in a much bigger way and it makes sense to optimize per purchase. Great. Let's go to the important one, the VIP conversion. This is where summit make or break. You want to make sure that if you are doing advertising, your conversion on advertising on VIP should be more than 3%. The best summit are even at 5% on cold traffic. That basically means people that never heard anything from you arrive and 5% of them purchase your product. This means your summit can scale and you can do very, very, very well. It obviously depends a bit on the price point. And people that come from advertising are very sensitive to price. So if you do have a summit that costs $49, that usually works very well on advertising. If you have a summit that costs $299, that's a lot more difficult for someone to say, yes, I should upgrade. From your own list and from affiliates, you will want to have your VIP conversion to be 5% and above. In some cases, even 7 to 8%. When you're able to hit those kind of numbers, you really can take the summit to the next level. And this is going to be extremely, extremely profitable. Great. Let's continue with benchmark. So in your summit, you also want to make sure that you add a few other things that really take your numbers to the next level. One of the classic things that you do is that you change the price of the summit while the summit is happening. So right after people sign up, you have what's called a OTO, a one-time offer, usually for like $49. And then between when they sign up and when the summit start, the summit should cost something like $79. During the summit, it should cost $99. And after the summit, $149. This number can change. It could be a bit higher, but the major point is about changing the prices over and over and over again, because you give scarcity and people want to take the recording at different prices at different times. We've seen this working very well in different times. And remember that the conversion rate of the pages will actually change. So the conversion rate of the page that we would expect for the $79, the $99, or the $149 is going to be around 2%. In some cases, a bit more, but 2% is a good benchmark, and it's kind of telling you how people want to go to the next level. Now, a few other numbers that you really need to take care of. The show up rate. There are different ways to calculate the show up rate, and it's very important that you understand them all. So the first one is how many people show up live. Usually you will want to have 10% of the people that sign up for your summit to show up live. That means that they show up while this is happening. This 10% number is a good number, but sometimes it's misleading, because whenever you look at how many people are live at the same moment, the number might be lower. And usually we would expect this to be 5%. What does it mean? Imagine that you're hosting your summit on YouTube, and on YouTube there will be written how many people are watching it now. That's not the show up rate live, that's how many people are watching it at the same time. So it's normal that if you look at how many people watch it at the same time, you will have something like 500 people in total, or 5% of how many people sign up for your summit. But when you look at the show up rate live, you want to look at the sum of the people that actually showed up during the day. Because someone might simply show up for 1 hour and then leave, while someone else might stay for the entire 8-10 hours of the summit. And then there is the total show up rate. The total show up rate normally is around 30%. The difference between show up rate live and show up rate total is that your summit is usually on for 24 hours. So after the summit finish live, you keep all the different sessions on for 24 hours. That means that someone might still come and watch some of the session, not live, but during the 24-hour window. And when that happens, it counts on the show up rate total, not on the show up rate live. And that's what you want to hit, the 30% number. Now, I know that these numbers can be confusing, so you need some example. So let me show you some example of some of the best summits I've ever worked on. The first summit I want to show you is the Embodiment Summit, formerly named as the Embodiment Conference. This was probably the biggest summit that I've ever run. It was during COVID, it was in 2020, and this summit was the one that had over 1,000 speakers. I'm not even kidding, 1,000 speakers. This summit had incredible numbers. We had the best speakers in the world in embodiment, and we had 10 different tracks. We had a yoga track, a meditation track, a movement track, a lot of different embodiment practices that I don't even remember. And for each track, we had 100 speakers, so 10 speakers a day for each track. That was incredibly complex to organize, but it was also massive, because you can imagine the amount of overwhelm that people were going through whenever they were signing up for that summit. And trust me, that really worked. We had over 500,000 people signing up for this summit, a huge amount of budget on advertising, and we were able to generate over $2 million from the summit. Obviously, there was a lot of investment in the team. There was a lot of investment in advertising. So that amount is not profit, but it definitely built a huge list that helped to take things to the next level for that business. And that was one of the best experiences I've ever had, because working in that specific event showed me a lot of different things that you can do in a summit. You can really transform it into a company. We were able to sell recording of the single tracks, recording of the best speakers, recording of all the conference, even a group coaching, where there will be a coach going together with a group of people through the different talks and coaching people through those different sessions. Tons of products were created out of the conference, and it kind of shows the versatility of the model. It does really work, and you can really get incredibly creative with this type of summit. The second summit I want to show you is the Psychedelic Assisted Therapy Summit. This is a summit that we've run advertising for together with Heart Mind Institute, which is the organizer of the summit, for different years. And the first year that we ran it, we really hit the grand slam and we made this $1 million summit. That's pretty crazy, very not common to happen, but we did incredibly well with it. So how did it work and why did it work? Well, pretty simply, we were a bit lucky. We took a topic that back then was new, a bit controversial, but a lot of people wanted to know more about that. And this conference came to really solve a very big need, a very big topic. And to me, it was very surprising because I was like, how is it possible that such a niche topic is so interesting for a lot of people? But we got the right amount of attention, the best speakers, the best topic, the right amount of overwhelm that make everything work together. We got over 50 speakers on the topic and we easily became the best conference in the space. We ran a lot of advertising on that. We even arrived to spend $10,000 a day on that event and it worked incredibly well. We even evergreen that event and we kept running this for years. And this kind of showed the power of choosing the right topic. Once you have the right topic with the right pinpoint, with the right interest, with the right people that want to join it, you can absolutely create a grand slam summit. And last but not the least, I want to talk about one of the most amazing summits that we've ever put together. This summit is the summit that we did with Terry Real in 2021. For the ones that don't know him, Terry is one of the greatest teachers in the world around relation therapy. He's the founder of the Relational Life Institute, and he put together this incredible relationship summit. The good thing here is that Terry is connected with the best therapists in the world, but also has some of the best clients in this world. Just imagine that the foreword of his book was written by Bruce Springsteen because he's one of his clients. Now, we were lucky enough to have for this summit Hugh Jackman as one of the speakers of the summit. It was so fun and it was so incredible, but we also had some other incredible people to speak at the summit. We had Gabor Mate, we have Bessel van der Kolk, we have really the top speakers in the world. Now, why did Terry want to do this summit? It wasn't just to do a summit or to generate email list. He actually wanted to sell a book. And you might be thinking, Alessio, but why on earth would you do a summit to sell a book? And that's something I repeat over and over. Guys, summit is one of the best ways to sell a book. Trust me, I've seen this so many different times and it just works. It functions like this. You sign up for the summit for free. And then when you go in the VIP page, I'm telling you that I'm doing this summit to promote this book that I'm launching. And if right now you sign up for the summit, I'm also going to send to your home directly a book. And this is an incredible offer because you don't just get the recording of the summit, you also are the first person to get a book. And so many people are so excited about that. The conversion of the VIP page was through the roof. We were converting at about 8% for the summit, which is unheard of. And this allowed us to really get a lot of people to upgrade, a lot of people to get the book, and a lot of people to obviously get the recording of the summit. Now, imagine that whenever you normally want to do a New York Times bestseller campaign, all you have to do is sell about 10,000 copies of the book in one single week. And what a lot of authors do, they do a lot of podcasts, they do a lot of different interviews. They even sometimes buy their own books to be part of those lists. And it's pretty depressing. But most of all the time, you pay an agency and you pay them $150,000 to become a New York Times bestseller, and you don't make any of this money back. Because what's happening is that you just get the title and the money that you get from the book are super small. Normally, authors get paid just 10% of the sales of their own books. Because in this case, Terry didn't just sold over 7,000 books just through the summit. He also got the email of everyone that bought the book, the email of everyone that signed up for the summit, and he was able to upsell an extra program that was a 6 weeks group coaching program where he was going through the same topics that he explained in the book, but on a Zoom session. This allowed him to generate a very good profit, almost $500,000 in revenues from the summit, and a list of 80,000 people. He became a New York Times bestseller, he made a big profit, and at the same time made a huge impact in the world. He continued to connect with everyone that bought the book, and he was able to take the business to the absolute next level. So, if you do have a book launch, a summit is a fantastic choice for you. It can really take things to the next level. Now, here is what's interesting. Most of all the people do so much work to put a summit together. They bring together 50 speakers, they do so many interviews, they create the team, they create the pages, they do advertising, they do the affiliates. They are exhausted after the summit, and then that's it. The summit is done. I cannot do anything with that. Absolutely not. Summit is a gold mine. You can do hundreds of things with a summit after the summit finished. Now, the simplest, you can obviously take some part of the interviews of the summit and create a podcast out of it. The other one is that you can do some snippets of different talks of the summit and use it for your own social media, for reels, for shorts, for TikToks. It can work really well. But there is something that's even better. What if you can use the power of the summit, this huge funnel that you build, and what if you can use it every single week? That's exactly what I'm doing with a lot of my clients. You can evergreen a summit and restart it every Monday. Wouldn't that be cool? Absolutely is, because that means that you can have lead on demand, you can have revenues on demand, and you can build your list in the best way possible with the borrowed authority of a summit. We did this for different people. Terry Real is one example that we evergreen the summit and we continue to generate a lot of revenues for that. And another one, Embodiment Summit, the one I mentioned in the beginning, we did exactly the same. And how we did that? We built even our own company that's named Summits for Impact. And that's all we do. We evergreen summits that already happened in the past. We take all the risk for the authors so that then we drive the advertising. And if we lose money, we lose money. But if we make money, we divide the profit into two. People that sign up for the summit get added to our list and to the list of our authors, and everyone wins. We have done this over and over again with a lot of different authors. With Ken Honda, we did a fantastic Happy Wealth Summit. With Shefali Tsabari, we did a Parenting Summit. With Mark Walsh, we did the Embodiment Summit. We built our own summits. With Navin Jain, we did the Health and Longevity Summit. And then we did the Mastering Abundance Summit, the Mastering Spirituality Summit. We did so many different summits, and it just worked over and over and over and over again. And that's really the magic. A summit can take your whole company to the next level, not just once, but forever, because you can keep evergreening, you can keep improving, you can keep adjusting and take your summit to the next level. Okay, let's land this. We went over so many different topics today, and I want to make sure that you have some key takeaways that you can remember from this masterclass on Summit. Let's start with the first one. A summit is not an event. A summit is a funnel built on borrowed authority that allow you to sell your own programs. A summit is an unfair lead magnet because it's like doing 50 different webinars on the same topic in 3 to 5 days. Summit fail when the topic is invalidated, the topic is too broad, and the topic isn't monetizable. You need to make sure that your summit model match your business model. If you do have a high ticket program, you need to do a high ticket summit. If you do have a low ticket program, you need to have a low ticket summit. A successful summit is built on the Overwhelm on Purpose model. Think about Spotify. You have a very good option for free, but that's so limited. And you want people to upgrade to the best option ever, which is the paid one. Don't be random in choosing speakers. You absolutely need to have a speaker portfolio. And there are 4 types of speakers: headliner, second-tier speakers, affiliate speakers, and quality speakers. Traffic sources in a summit are extremely important, and you want to have 3 major traffic sources: your own list, affiliates, and advertising. Ideally, having 1/3 of your traffic coming from each. And last but not the least, your summit can work in a lot of different ways, but especially it can work forever. So remember to evergreen your success, evergreen your summit, and take your numbers to the next level. Everything I share in this channel is free. I hope that you found today's masterclass on summits valuable. And if you're a creator that's starting out your journey and want to build your first summit, I really do hope that you follow all the steps and take this to the next level. And if somehow I help you, please like, comment, and subscribe. I want to see you in my community and I want to make sure that we stay connected and I see your success. And if by any chance my advices are helping you to go beyond 250K and you want to take it to the next level, that's exactly what we do as Scale for Impact, which is the marketing agency for course creator. And if you want to jump on a call and see how we can help you to take you to 7 and even 8 figures, please book a call in the description and we will be super excited to help you to take you to the next level. Thank you so much and see you in the next video. Ciao.